enjoy the show. The Voice 17104, a station for everyone.
Welcome to Did You Know? Podcast, your host, Richard Utley, dedicated to the African American viewers. The program is aimed to celebrate African American culture and deal with the real and relevant topics that impact the everyday lives of the African American community through frank and insightful dialogue with local and national influencers. Every day, there is another horrible, discouraging news story, directly or indirectly, impacting African Americans. But we need to look at the shining stars in the galaxy of Black America. It is time to tell our story.
All right, my name is Reginald Green. I'm here with Tony Stern. I am your guest host today on Did You Know? Another compilation of Real Talk. We ask for your prayers and thoughts be with Mr. Utley during this time and the rest of the families that are going through hard times and bereavement. And check in on your neighbors. Check in on your people that you call friends.
All right.
Say a prayer for them. Think about it. Because you never can tell what day you might be under hardship and you want somebody to look out for you as well.
Sure.
All right. Tony, we're back. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself for those that missed the last broadcast.
We're back here again, and I'm blessed to be here. Again, Tony Stern, Harrisburg, PA. Military, I was in the Navy, did some time there. Been coaching forever and a day, 30 plus years. Love the kids. Moreover, what I enjoy doing is community work, making a difference in the community, making a difference in the lives of young people and older people. I ask that you might today look at tomorrow, which is not promised. So maybe you ought to do it today. Say a prayer for somebody. Reach out to somebody with a little less than you.
Yes.
And touch them and maybe bless them. More than anything, know that God is real.
Praise Him.
Let's go, baby.
All right. You know, I always like to take a little thing on the daily bread.
Let's feed them, baby.
Here we go. We're coming to our 1 Peter, chapter 3, verses 8 through 12. And it's talking about the triumph of kindness in Christ.
My.
The kindness in Christ. I'll sit there and look at it. And I'm going to give you a little brief thing. We had an event this weekend because of my foundation, Heroes Unheard. We give back to the community of first responders and veterans that are out there and the families that are going through hard times. So we're sitting there talking, and we had an event in Pottstown. Myself and my other partner, Tony, we got up and not Tony Stern, but Tony Regal. And we sat there and we introduced ourselves and gave what our spiel is and what we'd like to do for the community. And really, this coming out of Harrisburg into Pottstown area. Once we were done, I want to tell you, everybody that was out at Sticks this weekend, I want to say thank you for those individuals that supported because it was a beautiful event. And when I say it was a beautiful event, here's the blessings that went with it. So, you know, we do an auction and things that we're raising the money and we're giving back to the community because we are going to be doing our Easter baskets and stuff now for the York area. And we're also going down towards Stilton when they're doing their event on the 12th and introducing Easter baskets to those kids as well. So we're sitting there and a lady came over and she got done listening. And I'm from Alabama, so I'm so used to yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, no matter what the age group is. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to be that familiar with you where I got to sit there and think I'm that relaxed and out of pocket. So we're sitting and the lady came up. It was an older lady. She said, hey, I want to talk to you afterwards. I said, okay, great. She said, you want to keep it or you want to auction it off? I said, one, my foundation, we do not accept a salary from the foundation. Everything that we have goes back into the community 100% with it. I said, so I will never keep anything for myself. I don't accept a salary from that. I said, so whatever you have, just auction it off. She said, you sure? I said, auction it. Her and her husband stood up, and guess what they said? 5 days, 4 nights.
Oh, my.
Anywhere in the world.
Oh, my.
The only thing that the person who receives this auction needs to pay is their taxes and gratuity while they're about it.
Wow.
And everybody had to ask that question. They were like, what? Are you serious?
Wow.
And they said, yes.
I get it. Sure.
So you pick the place you want to go in the world, we will set everything up for you. Your airfare, your cruise, your hotels. Only thing you have to worry about is the taxes, because we're not going to pay the taxes for you, and the gratuity that comes along while you're out there.
Wow.
And that is what they did for the community. And you got a lot of people out there that
awfully
don't
generous.
have that opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And it was for a trip for two.
Come on, sir. Oh,
Not just
my.
one person, but a trip for two.
Wow.
And I looked at it, I said, well, why would you do something like that? And it came because I did last time we were on the air, we talked about your blessings are not for you, but for somebody else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's exactly what she said. She said, I'm blessed and I'm fortunate me and my husband were able to do
In
this.
position.
Wow.
In position.
In position.
So this is how we give back.
Come on,
So every
sir.
time we have somebody that's out there that's doing something for the community, we make sure we do a cameo, we pop up and we offer something. So
That's
this is
awesome,
what we're
man.
offering.
That's awesome.
I said, this is amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
So that right there I counted as a blessing. Even though I looked at myself like, oh man, I should have kept it. But then I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Because you know what? I'm blessed to be able to do it myself, and my kids are blessed enough to be able to take the trips and stuff they want. But those individuals that are not, who are there, bless them with something nice.
Wow.
They're working hard, bless them with something nice. And that's what I found out there, is that people are out there, they're willing to help and willing to make sure that people receive a blessing and know that God is real out there.
That's what's up.
And that's what people need to know.
Yes, sir.
So triumph of kindness in Christ, that was their way of giving back. Their gift right there.
Wow.
Which I think it's a little bit more than tithes when you look at that. That's more than 10% if you ask me. But hey, they're able to do it, and it's awesome for them. So Tony, we were sitting there having a conversation on the way over here, and we were talking about flowers and gifts.
Yes.
Give those things while a person is alive. Don't wait till a person passes and then want to sit there and cry. And like I heard somebody say, crawl into the coffin with them.
Oh, my.
I don't believe, I never have. I will sit there and sing your praises and stuff while you are alive.
Sir.
You
Yes,
need
sir.
to know.
Come on.
It's amazing you said about crawling in the casket with him. I just harped on that on the phone right before
Yes.
I talked to you. So many times we know that people are out here doing great things. We know that people have done great things, and for some reason, before they leave this earth, there's so many bad things stated about them.
Wow.
Even
Yes.
from the person who, after the fact,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
will be one of those backbiters that said, wasn't this, oh my goodness, can you
But they
pray for-"
benefited from them.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
my, oh,
yes.
my. Come on,
So,
sir.
my thing has always been, if I have, you have.
That's it.
And if I don't, let's go get it.
Right.
And we're going to make sure that we do. There are resources out there. But more than anything, there's nothing better than a blessing from God.
Sure.
Okay? So therefore, the one thing that I would like to say to the people out there, make a phone call. Emails and all that, text messages, there's nothing like hearing your voice or seeing your face.
Correct. Right.
Let somebody know you love them, because they can't hear you when they're gone, and they can't smell those flowers that you put on their caskets.
Correct.
I make it a point to, I said, we share things, laugh, joke, but there's so many serious conversations that we have.
Yes.
And I love them because they're not about us.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, it's what we can do for someone else.
Now, I will say, sometimes it is about us.
It has to be. You gotta treat
Sometimes you
yourself.
will sit there and you call me out on some things, but look, you might want to rethink that.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to have somebody in your corner that's not going to sit there and whisper to you to stay off track.
Well, you see how
You
the
need to be
bell
able to
just
get
went
back
off.
on track.
Dang.
That's how it goes, and I appreciate you for that.
But that's what you call a real friend.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what you call a real friend. I'm not here to be the bobblehead and agree with everything.
You can't.
You know, because if you're a real friend, you bring it to the table. You call them to the table.
Yes.
So I appreciate that in you also.
Wow.
That is a blessing right there to be able to have that. So we're sitting here, and let's look at some of the things that are going on throughout the day. And we're not going to jump into the political realm of everything, but I would encourage individuals to understand what is going on in their communities right now. Stop being silent. Recognize the changes that are going on, and is it going to benefit you or harm you? You can't sit back in the shadows and saying, well, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be all right. God going to bless me. I'm going to wait for God to do something.
Oh my.
That's not how it works. God gives you an opportunity to go out and do something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's planted those seeds out there for you to sit there and go reap, harvest, and eat during that winter time. We talked about the winter time.
Sure.
But if you want to sit there and frolic around and live that YOLO life,
Come on, sir.
you can't have a YOLO life out there, young people. Even the older people that is out there. You can't have a YOLO life because you got to live today as if there is a tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Well, the YOLO life, you only live once.
Yes, I don't get it.
It's not true.
Wow. Oh
you-
my, that's
you
not
die
true.
once.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You live every day. You die
my,
once.
Yes.
And what you do, again, we talked about that dash. What's that dash going to say about you?
Yes.
You die once.
Yes.
You live every day. Now, how you want to live, how you represent yourself, it's a totally different story. So that YOLO, no, you live every day, you die
Yes. Yes. I was sitting there and one of my kids, I'll give his name, Xavier. He is constantly talking about the blessings of God, how things are working in his life, and how he's changed himself since he's given himself to God. And I applaud him for that. And I'm sitting there looking at things, and something ran across Sleeping Beauty. I think it's a Walt Disney thing. So you got Sleeping Beauty and you got what, the Seven Dwarfs? So they're sitting there, right? Was it Seven Dwarfs? I watched that. Yeah. Okay, so you got the Seven Dwarfs that are there, right? Sleeping Beauty's there, and then she's waiting for what? Prince Charming to come and kiss her, right?
And what happened?
I had to look at it from a different way.
Wow.
If you actually pay attention to it, Prince Charming comes in there and then gives her a kiss. Nowhere in there does it show her body waking up.
Coming back.
And on the departure,
Yes, sir.
where are the Seven Dwarfs?
They're not there.
The two, the Prince and Snow White, say what? They give their farewells.
Yes, sir.
And at the end, if you actually look at it,
The mansion.
they're looking at a mansion, a
The mansion.
castle that's covered in clouds, and it's radiant.
It's lit up.
Why? Because, as you said, you die once.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And if you
sir.
actually read the story instead of just watching an animation of it, it says even during her beauty, even during her death. At that moment, it is, in my opinion, that individual being resurrected and taken to a greater place.
Wow.
Because the dwarfs couldn't go.
Yes, sir. Yes.
If they were that friendly with you, right? You take them along with you.
Yes, sir.
But the prince, Snow White, got on the horse, and they headed off to that castle in the distance, saying goodbye.
Wow.
Well, everything ain't for everybody. If you
It's not.
If you look at the disciples, everybody didn't go into the forest.
My,
No.
oh my.
Everything ain't for everybody. There's a different message. Know what, I've said before, everybody does things for a reason, but they forget the purpose,
Come on,
or
sir.
they have none. So your reasons are, I like this, I coach because I played baseball, I know baseball. Many players, football, baseball, that I've had over 30 plus years. Not many have made it to the NFL, Major League Baseball. So what was my purpose? My purpose was to teach them life skills through a sport.
Yes.
I had practice today. We had a terrible game yesterday. Behavior was not conducive of high school kids playing ball. So my coach, Rogers, and I chose to do a classroom period. And we taught them what they obviously didn't see in themselves. And it was a long class. And you have to be forward with yourself, forward enough to take accountability.
Right.
And we have this reality world and we have a fantasy world. Many do not like that world of reality.
No.
Fantasy's one thing, but you try living that fantasy and reality will knock you down.
We will keep that mask on all day.
Mask hides many things. That smile hides many things.
Yes.
So again, back to those flowers. I beg of you,
Sure, sir.
I beg of you.
Sure.
Pray for somebody else. Call your mother. Call your father. Call a friend. Reach out and give those flowers now, because they can't smell them later.
No, they
Where they're
can't.
going.
No, they can't. And that's you can't say it better. Give me my flowers while I am alive. That way I may enjoy them. I want to be able to see the radiance, and I want to understand that too shall pass. No matter how long you want to keep those flowers, they are going to wither away. So that tells me I got to stay on track to get more flowers.
Bye-bye.
If
I
the
can't just
seeds,
stop right there.
the seeds are planted, the flowers will come. They may not bloom or blossom at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not meant to. They're not meant to.
Yes, they're seasonal.
You'll get yours.
They
And,
definitely will.
It's a blessing. We look at the young deafs out here. One saying that stays with me is, death is a right reserved for the old and a
Yes.
privilege abused by the young.
Yes.
And we need, what we're doing, what everybody, this room is so full of,
Sure.
I call it quiet energy,
Wow.
but it's bouncing off the walls.
Yes.
And I thank you for the call today. I was not supposed to be here.
I'm gonna correct you.
No,
on that.
no.
Okay,
I'm going to get there.
correct you.
I'm
on
going.
that.
I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there.
All right. Go ahead.
Sure.
You got a call. Some things happened, and for me to get a call from you, and for you to have me on your mind to call me, I thank you for that. It means a lot. But there's no such thing as coincidence.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That's where I'm going with. I wasn't supposed to be here, but there's no such thing as coincidence.
Sure.
I think that God, I know, I don't think,
Yes, sir. Yes.
God's in charge.
Yes.
So therefore, I was supposed to be here.
Right time, right place.
Yes. Phone call away.
I tell anybody that.
I don't call everybody back. Reginald calls, I know it's something.
Yes.
And if it's not, maybe it's just a, hey, what you doing?
Yes.
But I'm going to answer that phone. Know that.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Because when I get a telephone call, when somebody, hey, what you got going on? I need. Can you cover the show? It's not a question of I got something else going on. If it ain't nothing that really important is going on, unless it's my kids.
Bye-bye.
So yes, I have your back on that. We're gonna cover that because people need to hear what's real. And that's what I like coming on here with you, because we can sit there and have real conversation and put the question mark in somebody's mind and make them actually think, what am I actually doing with my life right now?
Wow.
Well, remember the commercial. Do you know where your children are?
Oh my goodness.
I miss that commercial so much because even if it's something crazy going on, that question is gonna, do you know where your children are? And I think that needs to be out there, because these kids that are out here doing these shootings and things like that.
Yes.
And then
If you don't raise them, somebody else will. And I'd rather have them raised properly than have the streets raise them.
the streets don't raise them, the streets bury them.
Bye.
The streets bury them.
You're right.
They don't make bunk beds and caskets, so you can't go with them.
You cannot.
So, those are the reasons and the purposes that I serve.
Sure.
The things that are going on right now, everybody say, I don't understand, it's the generations. No.
No, it's not.
As we say, it starts at home.
Yes.
Starts at home.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where we need to put, not the blame, but we need to put a purpose in the home. We need to, these young, I don't need a man, no. How about what he needs? How about what she needs?
Yes.
Okay, see, it's not about what you need anymore.
Yeah, that nuclear family's got to come back together. We have lost that.
The microwave world that we live in, the
instant.
quick. I wait for grandma's meal. I wait for a while.
Wow.
That's it.
But we, as a community, we as a people, we need to get on the ball.
When I want to know, when's grandma's meal coming back?
My good question.
5 o'clock dinners.
Because I challenge everybody that's out there watching this show right now. If you have children, or if you don't have biological children yourself, and you see these kids running the street, and they sit there and say, hey, how you doing, Mr. or Mrs.? That's great. pull them over to the side and ask them a real question. How you doing today?
I was at school.
That's simple. Yes. Find out what's going on. Because a lot of people keep things compartmentalized because they don't have an outlet, and then they think nobody cares.
Yes. Yes.
So I always ask the question, even when I was in the military, senior officer, somebody passed by, hey, Green, how you doing? Stop right there, sir. Ma'am, are you asking me this out of being courteous, or do you really care? If you care, stop. Give me time to answer that question. These are things that's going on in my mind right now. These are things I want to get off my chest. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
If you can do something about it, you can. If you
Yes.
can't, at least it's been acknowledged.
You heard me out.
That's the bottom line. Because when they're done messing with me, that means they got time to mess with you. You might not care about Mr. Green here, but there's someone else you care about, and they're going to end up getting the same treatment. Sooner or later, it's going to come around. And people don't care as long as it's not affecting them immediately.
I always say that.
When it touches base with them, and I said I wasn't going to get a whole bunch of political stuff, but we talk about this all the time. When they talk about like a DEI hires and all the rest of this stuff, getting rid of it, nobody paid attention to it until it affected their own community.
Wow.
Nobody cared about the loss of jobs with the federal workers and stuff. Why? And I don't have a federal job. It's not affecting me. I'm tired of big government and this and that. But now, you have family members that have moved to different areas based on having a job. So they sold that house, bought a new house. 2 weeks later down the road, you get an email, you no longer have a job.
Wow.
Now that person is displaced. What are they going to do? Are we looking out for them? It's what you do to the least of them that matters. Just because they don't affect you, and they may not be in your immediate sphere of influence, sooner or later it's going to come back to get you.
Somehow.
I was talking to a couple of gentlemen last night, and I asked a question. I said, how do you feel about the things that are going on with the price hikes and all that stuff? Yeah, it needs to be done. And I had to put a pause on it. I said, okay, you said it needs to get done. I said, as we are sitting here smoking cigars, eating a nice meal, we don't care because it doesn't affect our budget.
Oh my, oh my.
But what about those disenfranchised people that we're leaving behind?
Yes, sir.
It does affect them. So I need to care about them too. Because sooner or later it's going to hit my income bracket.
Yes, it will.
That's the thing. Sooner or later it's going to hit my income bracket. And when it does, now I'm sitting there worried. And they got a poem out there, who will speak for me?
Ooh.
Somebody needs to start speaking up about the situation and actually paying attention to it. What are we doing? Why do I have 20 truckloads of food that was designated to go to food banks turned around because we lost budgeting?
Wow.
That food is not rotting when it could have been feeding families.
Sure.
We're sitting around now worried about within the school districts about kindergarten for next year. Are we going to have full days of kindergarten or half days kindergarten? People have gotten so used to things and don't realize kindergarten is not a requirement. It is a luxury that's been afforded to you. But within that luxury, you become accustomed to it. So now you take that away. What are these families going to do that have to go to work that can't afford daycare?
Which is expensive.
What are we going to do? You're taking the subsidies away from daycare as well. Now the state is doing the best they can to sit there and try to supplement and pick up on some of these things. But that budget's going to wear weak as well. And when it does, what are we going to do? Start challenging your people out here that hadn't spoken to your elected representatives and your officials that are out there.
That was
When
my
last time you visited their office? Do you even know where their office is at?
Do you know their phone number?
That's it.
Have you ever called? Have
Town
you reached
hall
out?
meetings and stuff. Are you making those things? Are
School
you actually
board,
going
school
down there?
board meetings, town
Yes.
hall meetings.
Are
These
you actually
things
going there?
are important.
Yes.
You are the numbers that elect these people. We in the community make a habit of talking about the president, the vice president. Well, those things are way over there. The things that are affecting you are your elected officials here,
Yes.
close to you. Those are the big effect right now. Those things over there, yes, they matter, but also these things matter. Right here and you're not reaching out to them.
No.
And you have to, when you you put that pressure on it, that lump of coal will become a diamond because you put that pressure on it.
It's either going to crumble
Yes.
and fall to nothing, or it's going to become a diamond.
It's gonna be
and I
what
don't
it-
expect a bunch of diamonds to be out there.
There aren't.
Wow.
But it's going to be enough out there that someone will see a glimmer
Yes,
of shine somewhere.
indeed.
That's what's up.
And that's what you need. I was looking at it, I went and had lunch yesterday it was. I was looking through one of the communities, local communities that are around here, and they can really have an event coming up in the next couple of weeks. And I was like, you know what? I got it. Your borough, your township, they only have so much money allocated toward the kids for doing things like Easter and stuff like that.
Right.
That's great. But I'm looking at all these little community stores and stuff they have around here. Are these community stores being approached and say, can you donate $100 toward this?
Because these kids come through your store.
Sure.
They come through it. You accepting their money, or are you going to give back to the community? Feed them before they get hungry. Because if you don't want them out there stealing from you, you want to change their mindset. Well, these people done gave me something, so I'm really not going to do it. Is it a moral conflict that you're going to sit there? They shouldn't be doing it in the first place, stealing from you and robbing out your stores. However, if you want to change that mindset, start giving to this community and showing your name out there. Hey, we sponsored this, we sponsored that. Now they know where their local dollars are going. That is a key thing. Where is your money going in your community? You don't mind going to these stores and buying this and paying this, but they're giving back to your kids. Or they're giving back to the community and saying, hey, we're going to do this for you. That is something that has to happen. I don't know whether you got to talk to the council members, whoever you got to talk to, your local religious affiliates that are out there. Start holding these community meetings and talking to these people and saying, hey, we got this coming up. Can you help sponsor this?
Well, there's so much separation within the community and even with the churches. I've looked at, I've talked to, used to march together.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's, well, they stand for that, we stand for this. At some point in time, it doesn't matter what you stand for. You've got to come together.
Yes.
Because every one of these fingers are for different things, but when you want to put them to work, you have to use them all together. You want to throw a punch, you got to put them together.
Yes.
You're much stronger with the numbers that you have to do something positive, and I really wish that we could get back to the community work as it used to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Pulling it together, not sitting there separating everything that's out there.
Everybody has their own ulterior motives most of the time. We need to come together for our children, for our grandparents. We need to break those things down to which we were made from. My family, I call my family the soul food family. Why? Because when Grandma left, see what happened to that movie Soul Food. Everybody went their own ways. It became something that they were not. My grandmother, my grandfather were the glue that kept our family together. And even trying to come back together to put these pieces in place.
Yes.
It's become very hard because, I got to work. I have to do this, but what about the family?
Right.
That's my family. Well, how strong is your family since the grandparents have been
Yes.
gone?
Who's next in line to take that role?
Somebody has to take over. Family reunions. The one thing about family reunions, that's become the Undertaker.
Yes.
Wow.
You don't see him until something tragic
That's the
happens.
Undertaker's job, put together family reunions.
Yes. Yes.
Because that's most of the time you come together.
And again, flowers while we're living.
Now everybody loves each other that day,
Oh, wow.
maybe that weekend. And then you go back to what you were doing.
Wow.
Family's supposed to be together.
Yes. I tell people all the time, okay. I look at them. I call them out on, okay, so we went over here and we had this eulogy and everything. That's great. I said, but 2 days from now, where you going to be at?
Wow.
Are you going to fall back into where those old ruts and stuff that you were at and not communicate back with your family until you hear another drastic telephone call? Or are you going to make sure you stay in contact with these individuals? Are you going to call them on a regular basis, or are you just going to do a spur of the moment, hey, I'm coming out to see you? Those things are very important when it comes to the dynamics of a family, and we've gotten away from that. We've gotten away from that even in our communities, where communities used to be a village. It's no longer a village. You're sitting around, you got kids and stuff, they're sitting there, they're trying to do things that are prosperous for them, raising money and stuff like that. I see people just walk by, I'm like, I'm not giving you a dime. I don't know what's going on.
Well, you got kids that are hungry.
Yes.
that you won't feed. So, you know, doors were never locked.
Yes.
Note on the table. Miss Betty borrowed some sugar.
That was it.
Different things of that sort, you know. But until we become collectively that collective group again, we just gonna keep collecting bodies at the morgue,
Yes.
on the streets, and the quality of living for our young people. Still playground up here. Kids on the playground, they're up there shooting. Why the kids are out there? So nobody cares anymore.
There are needles and stuff out there in the ground. When the adults gonna walk by and say, "Hey, take that mess someplace else
Well, approach
and stand on it."
again. Approach the drug dealers. Not.
I ain't saying go out there with Wild West.
No, you don't
But
have to.
make them aware.
A conversation. Hey, I'm Coach Stern. Look, what you're doing is wrong. Can you at least take it somewhere else? These kids are out here.
Yes, they don't need to see
Okay.
this.
So, you know, it goes a long way because I've done it
Yes.
many times. It
Yes.
goes a long way. And when you're known in the community, the respect that comes with it, as long as you're doing the right thing, because there's some people out here that want to do
as I
things in the
say,
community,
not as I do.
and the respect is not there. So,
Yes.
you know, if you're going to put it out there, I would say represent what you say.
Wholeheartedly.
You know, be a representative of what you're speaking.
I'm looking at some of these places. When I grew up in Alabama, we had co-op produce areas. Because we thought about that, and even back in you looking at the 70s, 80s, we're going through this, and we're like, hey, the families and stuff started getting together, and we had little parcels of land, so they would sit there and grow. We had corn, we had eggs on my property there, we had peppers.
You make $1 million now. You got eggs on the property.
Right. You can make $1 million, or you could feed somebody else and save them a little bit of pocket change, because there's so many eggs that are out there growing. They're just laying them. You're not going to use all those eggs. And y'all hear me say it all the time. I believe in the glean. When you're out there gleaning the fields, whatever you can hold is yours. What's left on the ground is for the widows and orphans. You're not to pick that up.
Wow.
You're not to pick it up. It's out there for somebody else. Your blessing is for somebody else to be blessed.
Blessing be a blessing.
And we need to get back to this. Where are our co-op in these small communities? Where are our co-op farms? We have all this open land in these communities and stuff that nobody's using. Cities own, the boroughs own. How about get together and say we're going to have a co-op? You can either put some money into this with us, and we can either pay you a dividend from this co-op, or we can guarantee you so many pounds in produce every month. Now, when you go to the cities, Philadelphia is big on it. They have those co-ops. That's best kept secret out there. Those guys are getting fresh food out there. But you got these little rinky-dink grocery stores and stuff that are running through it, what I like to call indigent communities. They got all this sugary food out there and everything else. Those foods they'll blanket your whole store with, but they not give you the healthy counterpart that's out there.
And
the things that's going to make you.
And make the prices cheaper to get what's unhealthy.
Yes. And it's not helping you. You can eat it. You're hurting yourself. And they know it. They know it. And that's a sad thing that's out there. So when are we going to start getting back to that? That's an idea people need to have. You out there in your community, figure out, you got parcels of land out there. What are you going to do? Can you do a co-op farming in your community? Where everybody's getting back together. Not only will it help your community, it's going to bring you together, and it's also going to teach these kids something. They get a little agricultural skills out of that.
Yes, but again, you know, approach your local officials.
Yes.
Because they have knowledge about properties or land that this can be done on.
Yes.
You know, and I'm one who, let's go to the inmates that are coming home.
Yes.
Let's give them something. Let's give them something. You know, those second chances go a long way to different things.
And also, push come to shove, they going back into jail because they can't make it out there.
And we're teaching.
Nobody helped them.
We need to teach.
Yes.
And you know those things that you just said, like I said, they're not hard to do.
No.
Some are a little hard to find because we don't search enough.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be done.
Oh yes, it can be
So-
done. I'm sitting there looking at it, and I love to sit down and just. I'm sure you know Richard Utley, right?
Mhm.
I love to sit down and just talk to him and hear about his past life experiences, the things that he has seen in his lifetime, what he's come through. It's a great transition, but as you said, it's not enough. We can't get complacent because somebody throws us a bone. We got to start looking at our community and saying, what are we doing to make things better? Are we affording our kids the same opportunity?
Well, the generational wealth. Again, when we look at insurance and things like that, I had, coaching baseball. There was a gentleman who sold insurance, and we got to talking because we got a lot of fish fries going on and GoFundMe's when people leave here. So what I said to him was, why don't I introduce you to some families in the baseball, football communities? And we get so uptight, selfish. Well, all he trying to do is make money. I said, well, that's his job.
Correct.
But it would help for you to have some knowledge about insurance and what you need. Other than somebody died, we're going to have a GoFundMe. We don't need to go that route. I know that there's many people out there that have these things going on.
Right.
And when it hits hard
It does.
because everybody's at a, what are we going to do now?
Right.
So we need to not only life insurance, car insurance. We have people running around here saving $17 to $25 with limited tort. If you're listening out there, when you hear this, limited tort,
Oh, my, oh, my.
Yeah.
which is not a very good insurance, and you can get full tort insurance for $17 to $20 more, something of the sort. And it helps you big time. Look into these things. We need to learn about insurance.
Yes.
We need to know that $25 a month is going to save you a lot of trouble, or from a lot of trouble when somebody passes. We need to learn these things. We need to regurgitate them more. One of my favorite words, we need to regurgitate to our children. We need to regurgitate these things to our relatives, friends, and so they can share.
Right. It's simple things like that. Hopefully, within the near future, we'll be able to bring people on that will sit there and talk about those insurance policies.
IULs, the insurance,
Yes.
things of the sort.
Because I speak with a couple of people, and even last night, there was a conversation that came up about trust funds and how they're built within the community, and how within the black community, a lot of people don't understand what they are. When your child is born, give you a breakdown, because I had to break it down to my kids as well. The legalities of a childbirth is amazing. So you're born, the government says you need to have a social security number.
Tell it.
That's taxation right there for you. They ask you for a birth certificate. So you got to get the birth certificate first. Birth certificate is there. That is a contract between you
yes.
and those two parents guaranteeing you're going to take care of them, be responsible for them until age 18. Now they got a social security number. With that social security number, they can now be a beneficiary. Why not open up a bank account for a separate bank account that you know you're not going to sit there and abuse, and put $50 a month away for those kids instead of wasting that $50 on some junk? Put it away from them. By the time they hit 18, they're a little bit better off financially. And when you're sitting there dealing with trust fund, we talked about the insurance policy, right? People need to understand between term and whole life. You get a whole life policy, you make the beneficiary a trust fund. When that time comes and that person goes on to whatever they believe in, whatever dogma they have,
Sure.
they will sit there. That insurance company doesn't pay the family, it pays that trust fund. That is how you hold that money. Generational wealth is built that way. So every time you sit there and you want to finagle loans and stuff like that, you have your collateral out there. It's based on that whole life trust fund. And it's a repetitive thing that goes on. So now you had your kids and your grandkids. By the time you get to that third generation, that generational wealth is already built up.
Yes.
And I don't think it's going to end up costing you is $50, $60 a month. I think most people can spare that. They spend more than that on alcohol, and it's going out willy-nilly.
Yes, sodas, whatever.
But we'll get that.
You gotta get the new phone and all that.
Yes.
You know what they do.
Get the new phone, but we get that term life insurance out there, and then all of a sudden, you know what? Why do I even have this insurance? Now you left your family with a deficit already. Oh, we need to raise money, get a GoFundMe to help this person, that person. When you could have had that taken care of for $20, $30, $50 a month. Those are the things people need to start looking at. They need to get financial savvy. Financial literacy is a key to our youth right now. Because they're trying to take things back.
Because of what's happening right now, 10 to 15 to 20 years from what they're taking now,
Yes.
are trying to take, is going to have monumental, it's going to stress out a lot of people
Yes.
if it continues.
Yeah.
And if you don't do what you need to do at this time.
Yeah. Mom, Dad, myself, people our age, we grew up with the hope of a pension plan. That pension plan we know is going to be guaranteed for the rest of our life. There's not too many people out doing pension plans anymore. You got 401ks.
401ks.
So whatever you put into it is what you're getting out of it. And the young people aren't realizing that. These are things that have taken the profit margin for those companies has escalated. Why? Because I do not have to budget money for you.
Mm-hmm.
You are responsible. I'll match you 3-5% of what you put into it. And most people don't understand the value of 10%. You see people ask kids all the time, you gonna pick that dime up? It's just a dime.
Wow.
90 more cents, you got $1. So every time you're skipping over a dime, you just gave away the potential of having $1. So if that 10 cents don't mean anything to you, I'm gonna take that.
The thing is, and especially with 401ks, it's like I tell people, even with their deferred comp and things like that, you want to put that in there. It's before taxes. It's even before taxes, and
Yes.
that helps you out.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Especially if you're single.
Yes, there's small things that, again, one of my favorite phrases, small things, they turn into big things.
Yes.
You know, so we need to educate, re-educate, and continue to educate on these things. Insurance, investing, things. Got kids out there checking accounts still can't do check. If you told them to balance a checkbook,
Can't do it. Why? Because they hadn't told them, and they gotten away from that. Because they want the mindset of the plastic. And people looked at it, they've done the research. Everybody's always doing research on how to make money off the poor person. Before, the only thing you had was a savings account. You wanted something, you went to the bank, you gave them a note, and you withdrew it. Okay, great. Now we're going to make a little bit of money. We're going to give you a savings account plus a checking account. So now the checking account's out there. Now we're going to give you a piece of paper. You ain't got to come to the bank. You just write this. And they didn't educate them on it. So they still floating checks around, right? So now to sit there and halt that and change the mentality, because they take the cash away. And if I give you a $100 bill and you take it to the store and you spend 25 of that and they give you 75, your mindset changes. I've lost something. I might want to hold on to this a little bit more. So they said, okay, how can you get people to spend more? They're a little bit money conscious right now. Again, checking account started, and then you had this thing back in the day. I remember when it first came out, it was called William Tell. That was the first ones that came out with the little debit cards out there on the machines. So they give you a William Tell card. Now, the mindset has truly changed. Because if I give you a whole piece of plastic, and you give me a whole piece of plastic back, what have I lost mentally? Nothing. Because you haven't seen a transaction. That's why they want to sit there and force. Oh, guess what? Let's get it on the phones. Only thing you gotta do is walk up and go boop, 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 on the phone. Put it on your watch. There's no longer that financial literacy's out there. They've taken that mindset away. Those endorphins and stuff don't pop up now because you haven't seen that financial transaction pass through. We gotta get back to the basics. And that's why my parents used to always have a little mason jar. I think I may have mentioned that before. And that's where all our lunch money went. And when your lunch money went in there, you knew every morning you had to go in there and get your lunch money. And all the kids get their allotted amount. But you know how kids are. I was one of them. I think I'll take 25 cents more so I can go over here and buy me some Licky Chewies from the corner store before I get to the school, because we used to walk to school.
Sure.
So now at the end of the week, we come up on Friday, there's not enough for one person to get lunch because everybody hasn't done the same thing.
Yes, sir,
Everybody
yes,
dipped
sir.
and dive.
So we had to sit there and think about that. Where is our lunch money? So you either taking some cheese sandwiches, because they're going to tell you up front, put that meat back. You all had a chance to get a whole lunch out there, and you spent your money someplace else. You're not going to take out of this house when we're already affording it. That money was budgeted out already. Financial literacy. Now it came to us. Okay, well, maybe we need to stop doing this. Let's start looking at it. You want to go to the skating rink? That's fine. You have an allowance. What you do with it? Oh, then you don't have enough to go to the skating rink. What are you going to do? I tell you what, here's some applications. Remember our newspaper, Grit newspaper?
Well, we had Setco program up here. You went to work, baby.
We had that as well.
Yes, sir.
You sitting there, you going, we got to go find a job now. I don't care if it's cutting grass, doing whatever.
Newspaper wrap.
I used to load that lawnmower in the back of the vehicle, get myself a little 3 or 4 gallon thing of gas. I'm cutting 4 or 5 lawns that day.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that every other day. That's how I made my skating rink money. But they don't teach these kids that. We've given them so much now.
Well, remember when it snowed, I was rich.
Oh,
Sure.
I see them snowflakes.
Instant entrepreneur.
Time to get dressed.
yes.
And yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I look at these communities out there, especially up here in the winter. I'm like, tell me why is this lady out there shoveling that sidewalk? You get one of these kids over there and you pay them $2 or $3, they'll shovel that sidewalk.
I don't know about $2 or $3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit there and say, I'm not gonna say $20 because here's the thing.
Yes, sir.
We gotta teach
Understood.
generosity to them
Sure.
and understanding, because if you offer them that $2 or $3, they're gonna sit there and start thinking, well, why didn't you make some money today? Well, she only offered me this. So what do you have? I ain't got nothing. Then maybe you should have done that.
Understood.
We got to change that
Yes,
mindset of, well, you got to give me 20. No, I don't. You only worth what I tell you you're worth when you're doing my job.
Understood.
Now, if you take it for 3 and I give you 20, that's 17 to the good for you.
Well, see, you know wintertime's coming. Jack DeVan, God rest his soul, my art teacher and very good man. I want you to knock on doors.
Yes.
Up here at Jewish community. You know, we did it back here in our neighborhood. But the money was up here.
Sure.
I want you to get up there, start knocking on doors, shaking people's hands, telling them what you do in the winter, that you shovel snow. And that way you'll get some customers and they'll wait on you. And that's just what I did. Jack DeVan taught me a lesson.
That's good.
And that's, again, like I said, the old heads, as they call
Yes,
them.
sir, yes.
They call them now.
Yes.
We had folks, man, the likes of him, my baseball coaches, and different people in the community that taught us values, taught us lessons, you know, and that's where a great many things that are instilled in me have come from. Year went by, I retired from the prison.
Mm-hmm.
And certain people reached out to me, man, and it's like, wow, these guys watched me grow up. They've taught me the lessons. They've taught me how to go to work, and the life lessons they taught me, I've
Yes.
shared. So those are the things that we definitely try to do, but I truly wish there were more. As I said, though, there are people out there. And I ask you to pick their brains. Parents pick their brains. If dad's not there, there's somebody out there that you know is doing well and is a good person. Introduce them to these individuals. I just told my ball players today, #1 draft pick, Al Chambers. 1979, out of Harrisburg High.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't go to the college.
Right.
Out of high school, and I can tell these kids it can happen.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
1979, number one draft pick out of Harrisburg High, Seattle Mariners, Al Chambers, from little old Harrisburg, straight to the pros. And those are things, I grew up under Al. Al's at the game. I said, you guys don't even go pick his brain.
Wow.
He's at every game.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so I, as well as the head coach, come out and invite him to talk to him. That invitation is still open for you to go and pick his brain. And these are the resources that we need to get our children and other children involved in and get them to know that they're out there. How many years did you do? 30 what?
33 and a half.
33 and a half. Military. Nobody wants to go to the military.
No, they don't. They're not trying to get that skill trade.
All I can say is, when you get tired of paying for college,
Sure.
which the GI Bill will help you with,
Yes.
get you through, and that's part-time. You go reserve. The military is not a bad thing. And the parents, I'm not sending my son to war. Well, I'm sorry. That son is not your man. That son has to grow up into a man,
Sure.
not your man.
Wow.
You bring it up when you're talking about the things that are out there. Now, I'd say, if you're a person that's going to go to the military, I'm not advocating for a person to go to the military, go to college, what have you. But what I do believe, if you're not going to go to college, get a skill trade.
Yes.
So if you're going to get a skill trade, the best way to sit there and get that is through the military. Now, I will sit there and say the state of Pennsylvania, the great state of Pennsylvania, has done an excellent job when it comes to education funding for their military personnel that are in their guard. So you mentioned the GI Bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's another program that they have out there for a 6-year contract, and I need to break this down to you. So a person initially goes in, they are doing a 4x2 in the first place. They sign up for 6 years no matter what. So they can do that 4 active time frame going there, and they got 2 inactive. But if you're going to be inactive, you're only going there on the weekends, right, for the most part.
Correct.
Or maybe they pull you somewhere and you go travel the world a little bit and come back. GI Bill out there, you can either pass it to your family,
Correct.
or you keep it for yourself. And you also got other federal aid that's coming in as well. Tuition assistance, they call it. Now, PA has another program out there. Once you sign a 6-year contract with the Guardian, fulfill that contract, you have 0 children, no spouse, right? When you have signed that contract.
Mm-hmm.
You now have gotten married. You now have children. That program is for them. And it pays 100% of their education. They go to a state school, 100%. That means you're not looking at student loans out there trying to hustle the grant money and scholarships and stuff like that. Yeah, you're not looking at a debt that's going to take you 10 years to get from under. Those are the opportunity stuff that are offered out there. But we'll sit there and tell our kids, I don't want you doing this. Or we're not even giving them opportunity to understand what it is.
Right.
And when I say we're not giving them opportunity to understand what it is, because they didn't want to listen to their parents in the first place, so they're not going to listen to somebody that's not their parents. We got to get out that mindset. Somebody going to be your boss.
Somewhere.
Oh my.
Somebody going to be your boss. So if you're going to have a boss, you must be getting something out of it. And I tell them, when you go in there, you got to treat it like it's a scholarship all the way around, even if you join the military. Guess what? Let's say you break your leg or anything, they decide to put you out. What skill set did you learn while you were in there? Did you just waste that time?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares whether you served 20 years, 30 years in the military. I want to know, as an employer, what did you do with the benefits that were afforded to you? If you went in with a high school diploma, did you further your education, get a skill? Did you go to college while you were in there that was paid for to enhance not just yourself, but the organization as a whole? We've gotten away from that. Even within the military, nobody's preaching that. So we got to start it at home, take it back to the grassroots. Nobody cares how much time you were spent in there. What did you do to enhance your life and your family's life? Because by enhancing yours, you've also enhanced this organization. Because when somebody looks at it, and I told my son that, going on a sidetrack right quick. He said, trying to get life right with God and everything else. I got it, got a problem. But I told him, I said, when somebody looks at you, Are you representing what you're saying? Can they see a benefit of you saying, I've given my life to God? Are you still out here pimping and hollering saying, oh, I got these problems, those problems? No. Once you have done this, you reap the benefits that come with that.
Sure.
Which means, stop acting foolish.
Wow.
Go out there, live that life that you're saying, and people will see that change in you. And they want to see you benefit from saying that you are a child of God. If they're not seeing that, then that's a problem.
Well, they should see it before they shouldn't have to ask.
They shouldn't have to. Like I said, they should be able to see it.
Exactly.
And when they see it, now you're going to garner more people to you, be it to the church or be it just to your community as a whole. Sometimes you got to change the circle you are. If nothing changes, nothing will change.
My.
That's the bottom line. If nothing changes, nothing will change. So what are you doing to change your lifestyle? What are you doing to benefit yourself and your community that's around? Are you changing your circle? Are you still hanging out with the same fools that were doing the same mess? Sometimes you got to separate yourself.
Well, I use the word, and it's funny. People say, "Oh, I cut them off." I say, "I circumcise them."
That's it.
So because you cut them off. Certain animals, you cut things off,
Yes, sir.
tail grow back.
Sure.
No,
Once you circumcise, it
I
don't
need that
come
piece.
back.
That's dead. That's done.
I got to circumcise you. I'm gonna let you know just how far I'm going with this.
That dead tissue is unhealthy. I might as well discard it.
Even Ronald McDonald left some clowns behind.
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
You have to, because
Sure.
in growth, trees, as they're growing, they lose their leaves. Now they get some new leaves to come. Not saying that you need new friends.
No, even you
But
got a tree, even the branches
some-
fall off.
But it's growing. You prune a tree. Why do you prune a tree?
You need new growth.
I need new growth.
You need new growth.
So, and one thing I'll say, I bet some people are out there in radio world right now when they hear this, if they're not listening right now when they hear this, they were all over the place. And you know what? We spread seeds all over the whole.
And that's what I
everything
said.
grows.
Real talk, real conversation. Because our mindset is to sit there and say, did I spark a question mark in your mind?
My.
Did I do that? And if I did, I am successful in what my mission is.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
everything ain't for everybody.
No, it's not.
So you got to hit them
No,
so it
everywhere.
targets a little bit everywhere.
Yeah.
Sure, that's good.
If you got the kids out there, hold that conversation. If they're not your kids, and they're courteous enough to say hello to you, be courteous enough and inquisitive to show that you honestly care and appreciate what they did. Young man, young girl, how your day doing? What'd you do in school today? That simple bit of praise that's out there for them can uplift them. And again, some people think nobody cares. I am tired of hearing people with the him and the hawing of, I had to do this by myself, I had to do that. No, you chose to. God provided you a way out. You chose not to accept that help. Change your mindset. I'm going to give you the last word.
I'll go back to some of the things that we spoke about earlier. I like to reiterate things, especially in closing, because, again, we've been several subjects, but at the same time, it's real talk.
Yes.
Leaving with, give those flowers. Give those flowers while they can smell them. Give those flowers while they can see them.
Mm-hmm.
Because as tomorrow is not promised, you hear it all the time. And it doesn't hit home until it hits home. And sometimes when it hits home, it's real hard. And then you start searching for things. So I would say, as the group of men that have come together today, different thoughts, but it's a single mind. It's a equally yoked type environment. Fred Hammond's one song, Give Me a Clean Heart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Choose.
I gotta say one thing. And can I say it and close out?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Something
sir.
just ran across my mind.
Yes,
I was
sir.
talking to a guy.
Please.
Young men, when you're out there and you call yourself dating, courting, what have you, ask yourself this question. Do you have a Ruth or you have a Jezebel?
Oh my.
And if you don't know the difference,
Oh my, oh my.
read the word.
Oh my, oh
You'll
my.
find out.
Young lady, are you a Ruth or are you a Jezebel?
Oh my, that's volume.
And figure out which one you want to be.
Sure, sure, sure. My, oh my, oh my.
Hey, the thing is, what you said on that, it ain't what they call you. It's what you answer to.
That's it.
So be something that you want to be called.
That's right.
'Cause some of you answer to the other, and it's because of your actions.
Oh my, oh my, oh
On that
Again, it is what? What's the name of this?
my. Real talk.
Real talk. Did you know?
My, my, my.
And if you didn't know, now you know.
Now you know.
And if you don't understand all of it, hopefully you take the time to do your own research and understand what was going on. If you don't have an understanding, call somebody. Call your minister, get with an elder, find somebody that's going to hold real talk with you. Not somebody's going to placate. Again, thank you for sharing your time with us. I ask you again to keep Mr. Utley and his family in your prayers.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Richard Utley Show on The Voice 17104. We will be here on The Voice 17104 every first and third Tuesday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Once again, thanks for viewing. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Richard Utley